Hey Garden Fam, welcome back to The Sprout. Today, we're talking about one of the most cheerful, tough, and iconic flowers you can grow, the black-eyed Susan, Rudbeckia hirta. Those bright yellow or orange petals surrounding a dark dome-shaped center. They bloom from early summer all the way to frost. They're drought-tolerant, they attract butterflies, and they practically take care of themselves. Black-eyed Susans are native to the United States, and they've been a garden favorite for generations. They're the flowers that bring a little bit of the prairie to your backyard. They're perfect for beginners, and even experienced gardeners love them for their reliability and long bloom time. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We put out new gardening videos every week, and I don't want you to miss the next one. Also, drop a comment below. Do you grow black-eyed Susans? What's your favorite color? Classic yellow or something different? I'd love to hear about it. Now, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the different types of black-eyed Susans. The most common is Rudbeckia hirta, the classic biennial or short-lived perennial with yellow or orange petals and a dark brown center. But there are also beautiful cultivars. Cherry Brandy has red to maroon petals. Prairie Sun has orange petals tipped with lemon yellow and a green center instead of brown. Autumn Colors has shades of yellow, orange, red, and brown all in one flower. Indian Summer has huge, bright yellow flowers up to 9 inches across. And Rudbeckia fulgida, especially the cultivar Goldsturm, is a longer-lived perennial that is incredibly popular. There are even varieties with green or lime-colored petals, like Enchanted Forest. Now let's talk about how long black-eyed Susans live. This is important because it varies. Rudbeckia hirta is a biennial or short-lived perennial. That means it may not come back after 1 or 2 years, but it produces hundreds of seeds. If you leave some seed heads in fall, you'll have new seedlings next year. Rudbeckia fulgida, on the other hand, is a true perennial. It comes back year after year and spreads slowly by rhizomes. If you want a long-lived plant, choose Rudbeckia fulgida or Goldsturm. Now let's start with sun requirements. Black-eyed Susans need full sun. They need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight every day. In too much shade, they'll get leggy and produce fewer flowers. They may also be more prone to powdery mildew, so find your sunniest spot. That's where they belong. Now let's talk about soil. Black-eyed Susans are not picky. They grow in almost any well-draining soil. They tolerate clay soil, dry soil, and even poor soil. They prefer a pH between 6.0 and 8.0, but they're very adaptable. The only thing they don't like is wet, soggy feet. Good drainage is important. If you have heavy clay, amend it with compost or sand. Now let's talk about planting. You can plant black-eyed Susans as seeds or as young plants. Start seeds indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost, or direct sow them in the garden after the last frost. Press the seeds lightly into the soil. They need some light to germinate, so don't cover them too deeply. Keep the soil moist until they germinate, which takes about 2 to 3 weeks. If you're planting young plants, space them according to their mature size. Most varieties need 12 to 18 inches between plants. For a mass planting, space them closer. Now let's talk about watering. Water regularly during the first year to help the roots establish. After that, black-eyed Susans are quite drought-tolerant. Water deeply once a week during extended dry spells. In normal weather, you don't need to water at all. Overwatering is a bigger problem than underwatering. They don't like wet feet. Now let's talk about fertilizing. Black-eyed Susans don't need much fertilizer. In fact, too much fertilizer, especially too much nitrogen, will give you lots of leaves and fewer flowers. If your soil is poor, mix in a little compost at planting time. That's usually enough. You can also apply a balanced, slow-release fertilizer in spring, but don't overdo it. Now let's talk about deadheading. Deadheading means removing spent flowers. This is the best way to keep your black-eyed Susans blooming all season. When a flower fades, pinch or cut it off at the base. This encourages the plant to produce more flowers instead of going to seed. If you stop deadheading in late summer, you can leave the seed heads. Birds love them. American goldfinches in particular will eat the seeds. Now let's talk about pruning. In late fall, after the flowers have faded and the foliage has died back, you can cut the stems back to the ground. Or you can leave the seed heads standing for winter interest and wildlife. If you want a tidier garden, cut them back in early spring before new growth appears. Now let's talk about common problems. Let's go through them one by one. Problem 1. Powdery mildew. White powder on leaves. This is common in humid weather with poor air circulation. Space plants properly. Water at the base, not overhead. Remove affected leaves. Black-eyed Susans are generally resistant, but they can get it. Problem 2, leaf spot. Brown or black spots on leaves. Remove affected leaves. Improve air circulation. Don't compost infected leaves. Problem 3, aster yellows. A disease that causes distorted greenish flowers and stunted growth. There's no cure. Remove and destroy infected plants immediately to prevent spread. Problem 4, aphids. Small insects on new growth. Spray them off with water. Use insecticidal soap for heavy infestations. Problem 5, slugs and snails. They eat holes in the leaves, especially on young plants. Use slug bait, beer traps, or handpick them. Problem 6, deer. Black-eyed Susans are moderately deer-resistant, but in severe conditions, deer may eat them. Use repellent or fencing. Here's where you come in. Drop a comment below. Do you grow black-eyed Susans? What's your favorite variety? Do you leave the seed heads for the birds? I'd love to know. Now let's talk about black-eyed Susans for pollinators. Black-eyed Susans are a magnet for pollinators. Butterflies love them, bees love them. They're also a host plant for the silvery checker spot and wavy-lined emerald butterflies. And the seeds feed birds in fall and winter. If you want a wildlife-friendly garden, black-eyed Susans are a must. Now let's talk about black-eyed Susans as cut flowers. Black-eyed Susans make excellent cut flowers. Cut the stems when the flowers are just opening. Remove most of the leaves. Put them in water immediately. They'll last about a week in a vase. The seed heads also look great in dried arrangements. Now let's talk about black-eyed Susans in containers. Compact varieties are excellent in pots. Choose a pot at least 12 inches wide with drainage holes. Use good quality potting mix. Water regularly. Containers dry out faster than garden soil. Fertilize lightly in spring. In cold climates, protect the pot in winter or move it to an unheated garage. Now let's talk about letting black-eyed Susans self-seed. One of the great things about black-eyed Susans is that they self-seed freely. If you leave the seed heads in fall, the seeds will drop and new plants will appear in spring. This is a great way to get free plants. But be aware, they can spread. In some gardens, they can become a little too enthusiastic. If you want to control the spread, deadhead the flowers before they go to seed. Let me give you a few quick answers to common questions. Do black-eyed Susans come back every year? It depends. Rudbeckia fulgida is a true perennial. Rudbeckia hirta is biennial or short-lived perennial. It may not survive more than a couple of years, but it self-seeds readily. How long do black-eyed Susans bloom? From early summer to fall, often until the first frost. Do black-eyed Susans need full sun? Yes, at least 6 hours daily. When is the best time to plant? Spring or early fall. Are black-eyed Susans toxic to pets? They are generally considered non-toxic to cats and dogs, but as with any plant, ingesting large amounts can cause stomach upset. Let's wrap everything up. Black-eyed Susans are one of the easiest and most rewarding flowers you can grow. They're tough, they're beautiful, and they bloom for months. Plant them in full sun. Give them well-draining soil. They tolerate almost anything. Water during the first year, then only during dry spells. Don't over-fertilize, deadhead spent flowers for continuous bloom, cut back in late fall or early spring. Leave seed heads for the birds. Watch for powdery mildew. Here's the most important thing to remember. Black-eyed Susans are native wildflowers. They've been growing on roadsides and in prairies for thousands of years without any help from us. They don't need perfect soil, constant water, or fancy fertilizer. Give them sun, a little water when they're young, and let them do their thing. They'll reward you with months of golden color and happy pollinators. Before you go, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. Are you planting black-eyed Susans this year? What variety? I'd love to know. Also, what flower should I cover next? Coneflower? Hosta? Shasta daisy? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Take care of your garden, and it will take care of you. See you in the next video.